Hello, everybody. This is Cover 4 with the guys. I'm Marquise. I got Nick, Will, Terrence today. How you doing today, Nick?
Doing good, man. Ready to go. Got a lot of notes. About to slap y'all in the forehead with some knowledge, and we're ready to ride.
What about you, Terrence?
I'm already always ready. I'm always on all the smoke. So.
What about you, Will? How you living?
I'm ready for it, man. I got a couple things. I mean, I probably ain't got enough as Nick here. He probably got a whole playbook worth ready to go.
All right, and
I got like four, like two pages worth.
All right, bet that. We like to give a big shout out. The show would like to do a huge shout out to Jonathan Osborne. He's in charge of the 6-man show. They helped us out a lot, so we just like to thank them. So we really appreciate what they did for us, and then we're gonna jump into it. So. Around the league today, it's been crazy this past week in the league. Super insane. We had the Ravens do the most asinine trade I've ever seen, like ever. I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm a Ravens fan. I'm pissed about it. I'm gonna let Terrence go what he think about this trade.
It just don't make any sense. Like we was talking last week about moves of this offseason that just don't make any sense, and this is definitely top of the list. How can you trade arguably your top O-line, one of your top O-line, to a division rival? Somebody that you're going to have to go through and you haven't been able to go through yet. So I don't get it. I want to hear what y'all got to say about it because it just don't make any sense to me at all.
What you got, Will?
Yeah, that shit made no sense to me, especially when it's for a couple picks. Like that, Orlando Brown is, like he said, probably one of the best O-lines that you could note right now. And then they just give him up for a couple picks that might not even work out in the end. So I was just like, yo, bro, I wanted to just text you and be like, yo, get your boys.
Yeah, I talked to Nick about it. Nick thought it was crazy too.
And yeah, so, man,
it was ridiculous. Because when I had that shit pop up on my phone, because I get notifications for everything, I was like, wait, what? And then I looked into it. I was like, yo, they got to be getting some slams right now. And then I look, 31st pick and then a couple other picks, and I'm like, hold up, bro, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I don't really have no personal stake in it like you do, but I honestly thought it was the dumbest thing ever.
What you thought about it, Nick?
I mean, the only way it would have made sense is if they got a wide receiver out of it. I mean, at the end of the day, because if they had gotten like, let's say because like y'all said, I mean, going to Kansas City, you're literally giving your best offensive lineman to the one team that has just been really giving you trouble in the postseason every year. And if you were able to get like, obviously, they weren't going to give it like Tyreek Hill or something like that. But if you were able to get like an equivalent to that offensive line talent in wide receiver, I would say, okay, maybe. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, the draft capital isn't enough for what your offense needs at this point in time.
I guess the Chiefs say technically we gave y'all Sammy Watkins. So
if you think about it, though, like as a Ravens fan, we can't develop receiver talent, bro. Like Marquise Brown is still the same Marquise Brown. We still use him the same way he was used in Oklahoma. He's good, so I'm not. No discredit to him. He's just a small receiver. I don't expect him to slide through the middle.
Yeah, he's good, but I think he's more of a slot. I don't think
he's a third option.
Receiver, one-on-one, you're going to win every time, jump balls, all that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like he got to get the ball, like tight windows and, with some space, make some guys miss type of stuff. But as more like a number one,
not at all.
He's like your gadget receiver, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully Sammy can fill that role now and he can move on the inside and, do more damage.
We ain't even going to talk about the receiver lineup, but the fact that all they got was the 31st pick, the third, 94th pick, a 4th round at 136, and then a 2025th or something, I think. So you really didn't get equal talent because Orlando Brown started at left tackle because Riley Sanders was out. DJ Fluker gave up all the sacks and all the pressures on the right side because he's just, I don't know what he had going on. So now you protect Patrick Mahomes even more. We don't already have a pass rusher. So you get that. He got Joe Tooney from the Patriots.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Like, I don't know what You could have traded Orlando Brown to the Vikings and tried to get Adam Thielen.
That would have been perfect.
Or
you could have moved him so many places.
You could have saved it and asked Atlanta at this point, because the Julio trade discussion, you could have been like, okay, well, boom, boom,
we'll
boom.
Get to that.
You don't trade him within the AFC. That's the whole point. You don't.
Yeah. He's a right tackle that played left tackle. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. The only Pro Bowl he didn't make was his first year. He's made 2 back-to-back. He's gonna convert to left tackle because he can.
Young, yeah.
He didn't give up any sacks last year. It doesn't make any sense. We got to move on from that because that's just asinine right there. But we have some other crazy news. The Eagles' new head coach, I don't even know who he is. He said he won't name Jalen Hurts the starter. He wants it to be a competition. What do you think about that, Terrence?
It just doesn't make any sense to pull Carson Wentz last year. We know he was playing like dumpster juice. But to pull Carson last year and at this point trade Carson and, from the outside looking in, okay, Jalen Hurts is the guy. But now it's like, no, Jalen Hurts isn't the guy. We're going to go with more of a, competitive type for our quarterback. But it's like you don't have anyone there that's better than Jalen Hurts.
Bro, you got Joe Flacco, old Joe Flacco.
Oh,
what you think, Nick?
I mean, the crazy thing is, all right, I actually don't mind the Joe Flacco pickup because I mean, at the end of the day, whatever you want to say about it, he's a Super Bowl champion, veteran in the game. He's decent, is what I mean. He's obviously not a Pro Bowler. He's not anything that's going to get you to the promised land. But let's say the Jalen Hurts situation doesn't play out. You at least have a backup plan to kind of keep you above water. But I do think it's crazy that they're not going to name Jalen Hurts. I mean, you basically said, all right, the Carson Wentz situation didn't work out. He wasn't happy. We weren't happy as an organization. You've drafted Jalen Hurts for that weird style of play that you like to do, the trick plays, go out there and really play for it. You have what you want. And they have the 12th pick in the first round. You're not going to be able to get any of the quarterback talent we got a ton of quarterback talent this year, and you're not going to be able to get one of the good ones. So to say that he's not your starter, as someone who's looking for a confidence boost from his coach, from his organization, that's really not the move right now.
It just doesn't make any sense as well. Like last year, he was a rookie. Obviously, they drafted him, but it's like, for what other purpose did you draft him that high? You didn't even need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And you drafted Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I think the Joe Flacco thing, he, like you said, Nick, he's definitely a good backup. No disrespect, because that's how we got our Super Bowl.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just not at this point. For you not to name Jalen Hurts the starter is just obnoxious.
No, yeah. They need to name him the starter, especially with someone that young, going to be in his second year. He needs that confidence from his team, and they're not giving it to him.
They don't got any.
They rallied around him last year when he played.
Yeah. And they sat him just to lose that playoff. We won't even go there on that. The football team got in, right, Will?
Yeah.
So
I bet you was happy, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah. No, that was a setup.
Definitely a big setup. Another thing we got. Will, how you feel about Baker getting his 5th-year option picked up?
Honestly, I didn't put too much thought into it. I ain't even gonna lie. I saw it and I was like, well, could work out, couldn't work out. But then I didn't focus on that. So I mean, it could work out for him, but I really hadn't sat and thought about it because just not one of the players I really watched. But that's on him. I mean, if y'all have an actual thought on it, I'd rather hear y'all's because I didn't think about that.
What you think?
I was thinking about, the notes that you sent. I was thinking about all this other important stuff, and I was like, Baker 50 option. That's not really something I want to look into.
What you got, Terrence? You got anything on that?
I mean, honestly, at this point, I feel like this year for Baker is that prove to us why we need to stick with you long term. I mean, and there's honestly another thing about that team as well that I got to bring up as well, but I can wait for that. But
I think the main issue with them is it's not an issue. I think they just want to see if Baker's going to mature and just be take a better Kirk Cousins role. because it's a run-heavy offense. They don't need you like you
two solid running backs. Yeah,
don't make no mistakes within the offense and just grow up. Like I think that's all they want to see from him. He's not going to get the haul that Lamar and Allen are going to get. Like he obviously ain't going to get that type of contract. But if he can get a solid middle of the way contract, I feel like he'll take it because he knows what he has around him. Like
he's a game manager. You got a two-headed beast back there in the backfield. You got great talent around you from the tight end position all the way to the out to the receivers. O-line's great. Your offense as a whole is a pretty dominant offense.
Best offensive in the league last year.
So all you got to do is don't turn the ball over, and you look like a great quarterback.
And that's what's wild about it is they're actually going to save money. So I think the big debate was should they give him that extension, like an actual extension, or sign him for the 5th year. He's only going to make $18 million off that contract, so you're going to save a lot in cap space by getting him on that basically extended rookie contract. And then on top of that, I don't think really it's a win-win because let's face it, how many commercials do we see Baker Mayfield in over the last couple of years? That dude's getting paid.
Just about to mention that. I was like, wait, hold on, bro.
He's
getting paid.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he's getting paid out. He's getting paid out from another avenue. So I think it works out in both teams' favor. And like we already said, I mean, the offense was ridiculous. Their defense is actually ridiculous too. I think they're like a year out. But if they can let Baker do this thing where I think it was from week 6 to like week, or maybe it was week 8 to like week 15, Baker didn't throw a single interception, which was the first time in his career he had a streak like that. So if he can really hone in on that game manager mentality, allow the offense to utilize the weapons that they truly have, I think he'll end up working out for the Browns.
Definitely.
So y'all think like at this point it's like what Tanner said, like y'all think it's a do or die at this point for him? Like if he messes up, it's a wrap. No. If he doesn't, if he does do good, he's
last year was his do or die.
Yes. The Browns have had enough of the quarterback roulette, and I think last year they saw if we can keep him right there, if we can keep Nick Chubb, running, if we can keep a good second option in the receiver core that they have. I mean, the Browns got Austin Hooper, who I thought was the most underrated tight end last year from us, the Falcons, and so I mean they've got everything that he needs to be successful.
Yeah, that's solid.
Y'all think David Njoku's going to stay there, or what y'all think is going to? I mean, he demanded a trade at one point. So, I mean, what's going on with that situation? Y'all think
he's got the talent? He just was hurt. I mean, it was wrong time, wrong place, I guess.
I think David Njoku,
the backup for the Browns right now.
I think if you trade Odell, which they're talking about doing, not going to dive too crazy into that, you bring him back because you're going to need him. But if you don't trade Odell, maybe you can lean him out and be okay with that because Kareem Hunt's a receiving running back. So there you go. You got that.
You can trade Odell and kind of, I mean, they don't necessarily need to. They have an overall pretty solid team, to be honest. But, I mean.
You can't.
Odell and get some valuable pieces back in return, some draft picks or something, because they see without him. They can be successful without Odell. So
I think
arguably better without him.
The only weird thing about trading Odell is just that between him and maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones Jr., the rookie they had last year, those two are really only your big play, like dominant receivers. Like they're making.
Who else is good for them too, though?
They got Jarvis Landry.
Antonio Callaway. He was good for, and he was a steal from out of Florida too as well, but he was getting in trouble so much. I don't know what his deal is now if he's even in the league at this point.
And they have Rashard Higgins, which is Higgins and Baker have a good connection, but I'm saying like big plays, like they'll just make impact plays. It's only those two, like it's Odell and the rookie. So like if you boot Odell and you're not going to get the capital you traded for him from the Giants. So get that out your mind. You're not getting that back.
Especially off an injury like he had,
Exactly. So I would just be like, hey, no, we're keeping him. Baker, you guys are going to have to get this thing rolling because him with him is different world dynamic. Like if he shines and goes back to Pro Bowl Odell, like he showed flares of it last year. Oh,
if you can convince Odell,
where would he even be a good fit right now?
If he can stop being the drama queen, if he can stop.
That's what I was gonna say. If you can convince Odell he doesn't need the ball every play, then it'll work out. But honestly, that's a gamble the Ravens might want to take. Not for a huge trade, not for a huge trade or anything, but a team like the Ravens, if you could get them for cheap, might be good. Because I mean, at this point, what do you have to risk from the wide receiver position? But other than that, I mean, like a Tampa type situation with Antonio Brown, maybe imagine Odell as like a third option. Like you think with all that talent, that's stupid. Why would you ever allow yourself as Odell Beckham to do that? But Antonio Brown swallowed that pill and got a Super Bowl out of it. So either a situation like Antonio Brown in Tampa or a team like the Ravens who just desperately need a receiver might be a good situation for Odell.
I think
I was just thinking about that too, because in my head, like the top teams that Odell could even go to and make a real difference. I was thinking, just like you just said, Bucks, Ravens, and it's a toss-up between like the Dolphins and a couple others. But those two top teams right there, like as an Antonio Brown type option, especially with Tampa Bay, I mean, we got the talent on Tampa Bay. Just need to solidify. And
I wouldn't say go to Tampa Bay, but a situation like Antonio Brown in Tampa Bay.
You know what's crazy that nobody's really said is that his best suitors for me, like y'all named some good ones, but it would honestly be either the Packers, Titans, Niners. I don't think he fits on the Ravens just because of the play style. Niners, they got Deebo Samuels, George Kittle, and Brandon Aniku, the rookie from last year. But Odell would solidify being the number one, and all the dudes besides George Kittle would take a back seat.
Kyle Shanahan's play calling, I mean, I could see it. I mean,
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, for sure.
The Falcons' best. Hey, I love Kyle Shanahan, man. The Falcons' best year, that 2016 season, was all due to Kyle Shanahan. But Keith, I actually think your pick with what you said, Green Bay would probably be perfect. That would literally be like his Tampa Bay for what Antonio Brown had in with Tom Brady. Imagine Odell being that second or third option for Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron would get him the ball. That would be a good one.
Oh yeah,
Green Bay honestly might need to take a look into that. I mean, let's be honest. They haven't done much to help Aaron Rodgers out. Oh yeah, let's go get Jordan Love. Like, why the hell y'all go draft a damn quarterback, bro? Like, come on, that's disrespectful. Y'all haven't ever got this man any help, and y'all go draft a quarterback.
If we jump in the Packers rabbit hole, bro, we'll be talking all night because that is a deep hole to jump down with how they're doing that, man. But we got some other news. This man, Bucky Brooks, said the wildest thing I've ever heard. Like at least this year, and this year's early. We're early, but Bucky Brooks said that the Ravens should take Justin Fields if he falls late to replace Lamar Jackson. I just want to be really clear about this. I'm a big Ravens fan. No Lamar Jackson slander is tolerated on this podcast, but the only person that can duplicate what Lamar does, or maybe two, and the second one's a slight maybe, is that Vic in his prime with the Falcons could be on the Ravens, and then maybe Cam, and it's a strong maybe on Cam, but Vic 100% could do it probably. But other than that, there's no other quarterback on any team that is going to do what Lamar does for the Ravens and be that consistent at all. They wouldn't be in the conversation because there's no wideouts. So if you say there's no wideouts, you only have a tight end and a speedy receiver. A lot of those quarterbacks that make big plays with their arm are going to be like, oh, well, I see why he scrambles so much. Like, but I can't scramble like that.
Honestly, I get what you're saying. And it's like, the whole thing for me is like just being a Gators fan. Like, I don't really like Ohio State that much, honestly. But at the end of the day, for me, Patriots, we have a potential to get him. Like, I'm really high on him. I really like him. He had a good career and everything. But for me, in the back of my mind is Ohio State quarterbacks. What do they do in the league?
Disappear. Yeah, the disappear, yeah.
So it's like, is he going to break that trend? I mean, Joe Burrow went to Ohio State and he went to LSU.
Yeah, it wasn't good until he left Ohio State, right?
Exactly. So he left Ohio State, had a great season in LSU, went to the league. But, Justin Fields, I mean, he's a great talent. And, I feel like he's a Cam 2.0. He's about the same size as Cam. It's faster than Cam. Accuracy is better than Cam's.
Cam's 6'5", that man's 6'3", and Lamar just won an MVP. So this is just.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I'm not going to say he's going to replace Lamar at all. Like, I don't think
he shouldn't. He shouldn't at all.
I would say he's a good backup for that's as far as I would go. If you need a backup for Baltimore with the Robert Griffin thing not really working out, and then the other dude,
Tyler Huntley, the rookie from last year. I like him.
I would say for a backup position, maybe that'd be good. But yeah, to replace Lamar, like that is some of the most hater thing I've ever heard. That's like one of those takes. That's like a Skip Bayless take. Like you're just trying to be a hater. You're on the whole Lamar's a running back bandwagon. It's not true. The dude has never had a wide receiver in his career, has been forced to run. You look at his play, everyone always says, oh, get us do something in the playoffs. Every loss they've had, he's put his team on his back. He put over 500 yards himself on the run and throwing twice in the playoffs. Name another quarterback who's done that with as little talent wide receiver wise than Lamar Jackson. That's the only thing I have to say about it.
There's no arguing that Lamar's dynamic. You can't argue that. And
yeah.
For him to get the disrespect he did coming into the league, oh, you're a running back, or
yeah,
while he's in the league, like, oh, not bad for a running back, and you know, crazy because he's thrown 40-something touchdowns.
He doesn't turn the ball over,
and no interceptions. Like,
yeah.
So I got another one. This one's just for Terrence actually, because that's my cousin. He played in college, so this is really something he would know playing 4 years in school. Tom Brady got an issue with these numbers. Like, I play ball, but you played at the next level. Like, how does that? I don't see it being an issue. Like, I can't remotely see it because if you played in college, everybody has whatever number. So what do you think?
I don't see it being an issue. Honestly, I think it's more, and think about this. I feel like this is something that people haven't really thought about the whole numbers thing. Trying to bring that whole college dynamic into the NFL. Because when you talk football with anyone, one of the first things they're talking about is college football, how exciting college football is, even more exciting than the NFL. So in a sense, I feel like they're kind of trying to make it a little like college ball. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. But from a player perspective, like somebody like Dalvin Cook and all these players that for sure are going to go through a ton of jerseys, so the team has 1 million jerseys for them. And to say, oh, yeah, you have to buy out all of your jerseys if you want to switch your number, and to have to pay like millions of dollars to do it, it ain't worth it. It's definitely not worth it. But, I mean, I feel like they're trying to bring some kind of like college dynamic into the NFL. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, they said next year them boys can switch jerseys. Like this season, they'll have to play or they'll have to pay, but next year they can switch free game and have whatever jersey they want. But I just didn't see the issue what Brady was saying. I thought maybe from a standpoint of like, if you're watching film and say Nick wears 31 game and then he switches to 2 the following season and he's an impact player. So I'm looking for 30, but then he switches and now it's a little confusing looking for 2. But for someone that studies enough film, like
that shouldn't be a problem at all.
It's the same person. It's the same person.
Plus with technology, I mean, you can literally highlight a player.
Circle the player. Watch this film.
Yeah, like forget the number. Like you can highlight them.
Yeah. So,
but I get it. The point I did like though was the offensive lineman having to call shifts at the line of scrimmage. So I'll be straight up. I played literally my freshman year of high school. I played a little bit of football. Outside that, I was only basketball. So I don't understand offensive line schemes at all. I played wide receiver, was slow as all hell. But like the one thing I noticed was that Brady did say as a point is like if you're trying to call out like numbers and you're looking for stereotypically like a 67 or like a for defensive line 90 something, all of a sudden you're calling out number 5. Someone's like, what? Maybe that might throw somebody off a little bit.
I understand that point of it too, but if you think about it, think about how long Brady has been in the NFL. He's been in 2 decades.
And these people are pros. It's not an excuse, right?
He's just accustomed.
But when you're looking at, let's just look at this year. You're looking at Trevor Lawrence. You're looking at Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and all these quarterbacks coming in the draft, and even most recent quarterbacks that might have recently came in the league. Like Joe Burrow and all these other quarterbacks as well. Like they just they just pretty much came over from college ball, and you might have a middle linebacker that wears number 5, number 10, whatever. So it's like there's nothing different.
Get over it, yeah.
Playing from pee-wee ball to middle school, high school, and college, that's a long time to where you're like, oh yeah, the middle linebacker has number 1.
Yeah, pretty much just like you said, get over it. So
Yeah, I mean, I
we
don't
got
think
yeah, you're right. We got these crazy draft predictions, mock drafts. I ain't really ever made a mock draft. I'm not gonna lie. Last couple of years, I haven't paid as much attention to college, but like my cousin knows, like the family is big Miami fans. Like some of them is either Miami, Florida, or Florida State. Like you're either one of them three, and if you're not one of them three, nobody in the family paying attention pretty much. So we got that. Who do y'all think? We'll go around next. Who y'all think are the sleeper? If you could pick one sleeper in the draft, who would it be? For me personally, I'm gonna go Terrace Marshall. I feel like he's gonna be. He might not be a number one in the league, but you know how Chris Godwin's a number two, and he's with Mike Evans, and then Stephon Diggs had Adam Thielen, and then right now Jefferson has Thielen. So I think if he lands on the right team and he gets that secondary corner, that third corner, I feel like he'll destroy him. Like he's gonna luck up and be able to eat off of that. It's kind of like how Juju did with AB. But who you got, Terrence?
So me, I got Kadarius Toney out of Florida. So
yep, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say, Kadarius Toney.
When I'm looking at Kadarius Toney, bro, he reminds me so much of like a Percy Harvin. Like his playmaking ability.
Big comparison right there.
Boy, he is fast. Fast.
Oh yeah. And he had what, like 900 something yards. He had 10 or 11 touchdowns.
906 with 10, I think.
He had a big year.
See, like that's not that bad at all. Considering
kick return touchdown. I mean, you put him anywhere on the field, and I'm just saying, like, from that playmaking ability, and then maybe he needs to sharpen up his routes a little more, whatever. But honestly, what nickel linebacker, whatever you want to call it, is going to keep up with this man and guard this man one-on-one?
Oh, not so.
I don't know what it was that I don't know. I guess because maybe it was his last year and he was like, man, I need to go off. But like last season, he did more than all 3 previous seasons combined.
I mean, his playmaking ability, like even after the catch, like even when I believe it was a South Carolina game, he broke like 5 tackles on the way to the touchdown. I'm like, bro, this man here is ridiculous.
So we got.
So like, if he gets I'm assuming, I guess they're saying he has all field issues, but if he gets that together, I mean, his ceiling, I feel like he's going to be a sleeper for sure. So
I feel like he's either about to get drafted by the Jags or the Packers. Like they're gonna go for him right away. That's what I think. I think a couple actual analysts have said that. So I mean, I'm not even trying to quote them, but I just think they gonna go right after him, like as a sleeper.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
When everybody gets their little QBs and shit out the way, that's what they're gonna go for.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes day one. Honestly, if he sneaks in day one, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I honestly think he's gonna sneak in there. He might be a late pickup, but he's gonna go in there.
He's probably like a mid to late 1, early 2 at the latest. I don't see him. He's definitely not going past round 2 for sure.
All right, bet. So they on the same page with Tony. Who you got, Nick?
So obviously, I'm going to go a little weird on this one. So obviously, we've heard all about the quarterbacks. Terrence, I need you to pay attention to this name I'm about to say because you're a Patriots man. So obviously, if you've been paying attention at all, the Patriots are trying to move up in the draft. I don't think they'll be able to get as high as they want to get. So a lot of the top prospects will go. But if you don't know the name Kellen Mond, he's the quarterback at Texas A&M. So played in the Western Conference. So played in the hardest division in college football. Played in the Western Division of the SEC at Texas A&M. Had to play Bama. Had to play LSU. All those top teams. He played for Jimbo Fisher, who developed people like Jameis Winston, a pro-style offense. Very conservative quarterback, so something that Bill Belichick loves. If he can't get perfect scenario for Bill Belichick would be Mac Jones in this draft. But if he couldn't get Mac Jones, I promise you, Terrence, listen to the name Kellen Mond. That's who they'll end up picking if they can get a quarterback.
I had that thought before, and honestly, we could probably, if we were not able to get any of the top quarterbacks, he's more of like a developmental type quarterback who probably I can see going. And
he's a game manager. And the thing is that Jimbo Fisher's developed great tight ends in his day. And if you've seen, like, the Patriots are trying to get back to that. Obviously, they don't have Gronk anymore, but they've always been able to do something with tight ends. Mm-hmm. Jimbo's style of play as a coach translates very well to the NFL in terms of like the way Bill Belichick develops an offense.
Yeah, I mean, Kellen Mond, like I say, I know a lot about Kellen Mond just because I'm a Gators fan. So he beat my Gators this past year, and
Yeah.
I was very pissed. But
Them Gators, sorry, boy, you picked the wrong team. Should have been a Miami fan, man. You know how the family rocking, but
we tolerate no disrespect about the Gators.
I'm not even gonna say who I like in college. I don't even want to get into that.
So we got that. I got this weird thing that's going on. So they say the Niners are going to take Mac Jones at 3. They've been saying that for the longest. All right, whatever. He fits their system because he's played with enough talent. They feel like he could just be in that pool and connect really well with, George Kittle, Deebo Samuels. They have the run.
Talent,
honestly,
he had talent at Bama. San Francisco does have that same type of caliber talent in the play calling from Kyle Shanahan. So, I mean, he has the smarts that he probably can come in and start running the offense right away, potentially. So, I mean, and his accuracy.
Honestly, with the way that it is, they're each 3 of the first picks are gonna go for QBs. The top pick that is nobody has stopped fucking talking about is fucking Trevor to
Jacksonville.
The Jags.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you said the Niners, like they might pick up, depending on how it goes, they could pick up either Mac Jones or Zach Wilson. To be honest with you,
Zach's going too.
How it goes,
Zach's going too.
I think they would, but I mean, I kind of see it happening, but I kind of don't. Like they make some bad calls sometimes.
Don't be surprised if Trey Lance goes to the 49ers.
That'd be a good one.
You know what's really weird? It's been happening. I don't know where the Zach Wilson hype came from because I barely keep up with, college as much. I always lock in to see what Miami's doing. But I remember not hearing a thing about Zach Wilson. It was Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence was first, but it was just a matter of if he could challenge and leap him from first. You know what I'm saying? But it's always been Trevor Lawrence, it's been Justin Fields. So if Mac Jones goes to the Niners at 3, which is whatever, how is Zach Wilson beating Justin Fields and he played at BYU? Like, what are we talking about?
All right, Terrence, I need you to listen to me for 1 second here. All right, you ready for this?
Play nobody. I don't get.
He didn't. But this is the thing. If you watch his footage, I'm not gonna say he's the best or anything like that. But if you watch his footage, you got to think about this. One, he's playing inferior talent compared to SEC people, but he's also playing with inferior talent. Okay. So at other skill positions, it's pretty evenly matched. If you look at the throws that he's able to make, but the biggest one for you, Marquise,
his arm is crazy.
His arm's ridiculous. But the thing about it was, if you watch Chris Sims' mock draft or quarterback analysis of when Lamar got drafted that year, he predicted every single one perfectly. He said Lamar would be the best.
He did.
He said Josh Allen would be number 2. He said Baker would be 3, then Sam Darnold, then Josh Rosen. He picked Zach Wilson above even Trevor Lawrence, and I was like, "That's wild." I think we all can agree Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in this draft.
Well, if you watch, Trevor's going to get dealt the worst hand. I mean, him and Zach are getting dealt the worst.
Well, I was about to say. No, I think Zach will get dealt the worst hand, but Trevor is
Jacksonville isn't he's not in a bad situation down there, honestly. I mean,
I don't think it's awful. Zach's is going to be awful in New York. The only hope he has is if Rob Saleh ends up being a decent coach. But the problem with that is he's a defensive coach. He's not even an offensive mind. But apparently the Jets are going to push for a good offensive line. I think nowadays, if you can get protection, at the end of the day, you can at least help development. But I promise you, Zach's arm is so ridiculous. If you watch the throws he was able to make, I think he's actually it makes sense why he's getting the hype he's getting. But I do agree Justin Fields is getting disrespected.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I was watching, I never. All right, this is gonna sound silly, but I have my own reason for it because I didn't watch Trevor Lawrence that much, to be honest. That's why I said Mac Jones could be just as good as him because I only watched him. To be honest, I watched him more consistently. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, he was on primetime all the time.
Because, I never really was interested in Clemson. I know they up there, but I never sat down. I was like, oh well, let me go ahead and watch Trevor. But I watched Mac way more consistently, so that's the reason I say personally he could be better than Trevor in the long run.
But honestly, like Mac Jones, like sitting in the pocket, he's accurate. like he gets the job done. Like he's more athletic than, you know, a Matt Ryan or Tom Brady, and you know has that same type of accuracy. So
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan had great.
What would piss me off is Mac
Ryan.
Jones ended up with the Patriots somehow. I don't think he'll fall that far back. But if he fell to like the fucking Patriots, because that would be that situation where he just steps in and looks like a Pro Bowler because that system fits him so well. That would drive me up a wall because I don't think he has the talent, but he could fit that game manager style so well.
There's a couple people out there that are putting Mac Jones on the Patriots in their mock drafts, and I was like,
yeah.
Huh?
Well, because if he slipped,
I believe
because San Francisco, he fits San Francisco's play.
Three.
So if he slips past San Francisco, I don't think there's a lot of teams that want him. So he could fall that far back.
Yeah, I mean, he could fall. So we had that. We have this another interesting debate. I'm gonna tap in with my cousin again, Terrence. How much did you weigh when you played in college?
I like one. At my biggest, probably like 180, 185.
Okay, so you know this slander I'm hearing about Devontae Smith being what
you was a receiver?
Yeah, I played receiver.
Well, not,
okay, that's why.
Exactly, but like Devontae Smith, what is 170, 165 or something?
They say he's 175. That's what he's listed at.
Bro,
I seen
he's definitely going to the Dolphins. I guarantee.
Oh, he ain't that small. If he's that small, bro,
but
if he's that small, he's dying. Bro.
It don't even matter how small he is. Stephon Diggs is only like 190 at most.
That's 15 pounds of muscle, bro.
But you got to think he's going to have an off season this year. He's going to get, you know,
and hopefully he does.
Everybody lost the off season last year because of COVID. He's going to get an off season. They're going to tell this man, eat, bro. Just eat.
Get that man a gallon of milk a day.
They're playing football. Like he's been, this is a game he's been playing all his life. And he just played in the best conference in the country.
Torching all these corners.
Won the Heisman. Yeah.
And he did what? Oh, okay.
Bro, it's how you going to disrespect this man? He just won the Heisman. You know, the only person I think, if you put him behind, is you could say Jamar Chase is maybe more ready in a sense, just because he's more physical. Ready, sure. Yeah,
his body frame, speed, everything.
Everything. You could be like, okay, we'll take him over Devontae Smith, but that's it. Like, there's no Jalen Waddle. There's no any of these other receivers are going over him. Like,
that's just because Jamar Chase didn't play this year.
Yeah, like what are you saying? Like you're gonna let this man fall because of his weight, bro? I hope he torches whoever lets him fall because you're saying, oh, he's too small to play at this position. Like what do you want? How big do you want to be? Like everybody.
Obviously, you're playing football. It don't really matter.
But then you got people that are like what's his name? Bateman. He's what 6'3", 2 something.
Who?
Bateman, Rashad Bateman.
Oh yeah.
He's up there with size, but you don't see it. Well, I mean, his stats aren't the same, but with somebody in that size, you would like, I would think, because on my mock draft, I put the Dolphins picking up one of those four.
Yeah.
At least they're getting Devontae Smith, Waddle, Chase, or Bateman off rip. Like, I believe that's going to be their first pick, one of those four.
All right. They're going Jamar Chase for sure.
All right, Terrence and Keith. I'm not hating on Devontae Smith. I think his skill, his just strictly from a skill perspective, he's better. He's better than Jamar Chase. Like we said, for build wise, what the league actually requires of a receiver. Obviously, Jamar Chase, in my opinion, is the better pick. If we're going strictly off skill, I love Devontae Smith. But my question is, the comparison that I see with Devontae Smith is he is a more skilled. So this is a huge thing. But he's a more skilled like Percy Harvin or Deshaun Jackson. He's a similar build, right? And the only issue with both of them is what throughout their career was durability. So and the cliche
it was from like taking hits though. It wasn't from.
It wasn't. Yeah, Percy Harvin had migraines, but I get they're not. He's not the same because both of those dudes had next like level speed and they were used in other ways. Like those was returning punts, kicks. You put
yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's a more skilled version of those. I'm talking strictly build. I'm not talking about what they did on the field. So my thing is Percy Harvin's was migraines, but I mean, let's be honest. No one knows what was really going on in practice. Where did those migraines probably come from? I mean, we're playing football. So at the end of the day, the cliche is the best ability is availability. I hope that he never has an injury. I hope this dude plays 16 games, starts 16 games. for 30 years. I hope he has the craziest career ever. But like at the end of the day, if I'm a GM and I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, and I'll admit my bias. What does Julio have over everyone? He's 6'3", weighs 230 pounds, wide receiver. So, and he's had his durability issues, but an alien, that's what I'm saying. Like people like him, Megatron, Randy Moss, like outside of Randy Moss, all the best wide receivers are your big dudes.
But Randy, like, oh my God.
Or outside of Jerry Rice, I mean.
But Jerry Rice was small. Antonio Brown's not a big dude. Randy Moss was lanky, like the same build, like just tall and could burn people. So I think it's really, it's for him, he can't go to a team that needs him right away to be the number one. I don't think.
It's almost like a quarterback you got to develop for a year.
Yeah,
if you give him 1 year, I wouldn't say don't play him, but like let him sit behind somebody and just get him in the weight room, have him on all types of whey protein and everything you can and the craziest calorie diet.
How are they knocking Devontae Smith, but his teammate Jalen Waddle is right in the conversation, and it's not like he's the biggest guy?
And he just had an ankle injury. What are we talking about?
No, I agree. I don't know why. Waddle's not even in my conversation. I actually think this wide receiver class is kind of overrated. I think that Waddle is kind of like a Hollywood Brown type. He's got the crazy speed. He's not very big. But to me, it's a 2 wide receiver race. There's a ton of good second and third round talent. But in terms of first round talent, it's Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith. And the question for me personally comes down to who can play tomorrow? If the season started tomorrow, who do I want as my starting receiver for one of these lesser teams? And actually, I think Willie, you said it best. I think Jamar Chase in Miami is a perfect fit.
Yeah,
they're gonna go for him because that's if he slips by. Because who knows? Like somebody might throw a fucking crowbar out. Like, oh, we didn't see that coming. Oh, okay.
The one I'm scared of is if the Falcons truly do plan on trading Julio, they need to not take Kyle Pitts. If they take Pitts, I think Pitts is a true tight end. I think everyone freaks out about how good of a tight end prospect he is and think, oh, he might be a wide receiver. We don't need a might be wide receiver for a first round draft pick. If he's going to play wide receiver, that's a second or third round pick. At the end of the day, I mean, he's a first round best tight end in the draft. But if you're thinking wide receiver, second or third round,
people are saying that though, because it's not that it's a bonus. Like, having him being able to line up at both. Because you remember how Aaron Hernandez got used? I don't care what anybody says. To this day, I'll probably die on this bridge that Aaron Hernandez is better than Gronk. He was at that point.
Could have been. I'll say could have been.
At that point in their career, he would have been better if he, everything didn't happen.
I mean, this man Aaron Hernandez would line up and running back
slot, bro. Like everything. It was torching people.
But think. This is the thing. Like you said, slot. I'll take Kyle Pitts as a slot receiver. What I'm thinking though is we have Calvin as our 2 receiver. Julio is our number 1. If we could put, Kyle Pitts in that situation to either play tight end or the slot all day. But if you put him out wide, and I'm going off Michael Irvin, who is a Hall of Fame wide receiver, one of the greatest of all time. He said Kyle Pitts' route running is so elementary. As good of a talent as he is, as athletic as he is, as good as his hands is, he said his route running is, he literally said route running is elementary. And at the next level, that could be the difference. Now, you can teach route running, and if he gets to that level, by all means. But at this point in time, I can't see him being a number 2 wide receiver with a tight end skill set.
He lined up against all those corners that are probably going to go in the first couple rounds. And I think his worst game was against the one in Alabama. I forget. I think it's Patrick Surtain. He had like it was like 78, but 78% in the slot. So how many of those were nickelbacks and linebackers? Yeah, that's true. That does bring up that point.
He's terrorizing everybody.
He's killing everybody. I think if we're talking strictly, skill, I love Kyle Pitts. That's who I hope we pick up. But if we do that, I hope we don't think or fall in love with the idea that, okay, now we can trade Julio because we have a replacement, because I don't agree with that.
Yeah, so
for sure.
Let's talk about that. Matter of fact, we're going to switch up from the draft. This whole trade Julio aspect. I think, people brought up that Julio gets injured a lot. Julio played from 2014 to 2019, 5 years straight, Pro Bowl every year. I want to say a year prior, he got injured in his 13 or 12. His rookie year, he only played a couple games. And then last year was his first year where he played the 8 and then missed the rest of the season. So when people are saying he's super injury prone, he's not. People are saying, oh, he's too old. No, you saw in 8 games what he did before he got injured. Whoever gets him from Atlanta is getting a steal. Like you're going to get, it's going to be a contender that's going to get him. You know, maybe, you know, for some,
Julio.
Exactly. You're getting
I've always
prime
said Julio Jones, especially when healthy, like 100%. Well, I mean, he can't be 100% healthy at this point no more, but a good, healthy Julio Jones is probably one of the best in the league.
But I mean,
if not the best.
Too, like if you all these years you've been playing for Atlanta, who's been underachieving every year, and you have these injuries,
so you're not wrong.
Are you hurt? Are you really hurt? Or are you just like, oh, I'm trying to stay healthy, save myself?
This actually, Terrence, what I actually think it is I think he gets dinged up a lot. I don't think it's like severe injuries. I think he's like, damn, bro, like I can't do this all the time. Like you got me going over the middle versus hard hitting safeties, linebackers when I'm slanting across the middle. I think he gets dinged up. I don't think he ever really gets like super, super injured. But if he was to leave, and I'll be honest, if like everyone's got like that team they secretly root for if their team isn't doing well, Marquise, I'll be honest with you. Mine is the Ravens. I always want to see them do well. I love Lamar Jackson. I hate that people doubt him. If he was going to go somewhere, he would be like what Anquan Bolden was for Joe Flacco, but better. Like he would be Anquan Bolden 2.0. Like people thought he was washed. People thought he was always injured. Like they had fits. They didn't need Anquan as well. He goes, plays with Joe Flacco, helps them win a Super Bowl. He could be that determinant factor. And the difference is Anquan was never a top 5, or maybe he was 5th, but he was never really a top 5 option. He would give the Ravens like a legitimate top 5 option, no questions asked, and would give Lamar the relief that he needs to perform at that next level.
People forget that Julio is like an actual, like really good blocking receiver, like
really, a blocking receiver too. And
he lays people out.
Will lay you out. If you look at this, fun fact, there's 2 wide receivers in NFL history that have more tackles than drops. The only 2 are Larry Fitzgerald and Julio Jones. Both of them have more tackles than they do drops.
Julio is an alien, bro. That man.
So realistically, the best landing spot for this man, obviously biased the Ravens, but if I couldn't pick the Ravens, like I said, Odell needs to go to the Niners. Julio to the Niners with Kyle Shanahan again.
They would, Kyle Shanahan is drooling at that option.
Exactly. So there's only a couple teams that would take the risk. If I'm the Niners, you need a corner because you're letting Sherman go. So, maybe you can talk to the Patriots about Gilmore, who probably realistically is not going to be on the Patriots next year. How much he's going to get paid. And if you say
that's Jimmy G or something. So
if you swap that and a pick, boom, you got that. So if you can bring in Julio, I mean, obviously cap issues. I think Baltimore and Tennessee, the Raiders could probably be some of the best bets, but it's really, for me, it's between the Ravens and the Niners. And like you said, the Ravens aren't going to spend too much money because they got to pay people. But if I'm gambling, this is the gamble I'm letting it all out there for.
Julio, I was about to say, for the Ravens, Julio's a good, because he got 2 years left on this deal. He's a good 2-year. Yeah, you potentially could be overpaying. Let's face it. I mean, if he is dinged up, you could be overpaying. But for 2 years, I mean, Lamar's got, the NFL is such a short window you have to win. 2 years on an investment with Julio is where you need to be. He's only 32 years old.
It's a win now league, like you said. And if you get him and you win one, and then you got to extend Lamar next year, okay, then deal with it then.
Deal with it then. If you can get one Super Bowl now, who cares what happens?
Yeah, like you saw the Bucks went all in. Like, hey, we're getting Brady. Brady's bringing
I don't even want to talk about that because they're in my division and they re-signed everybody, bro. So it wasn't 1 year. I wish it was 1 year, but they got everybody.
So we got.
Man, honestly, I thought the Falcons were gonna do a lot more than they did. There was so many times where they had
for 3 years
they had a lead and they gave it back. I'm like,
for 3 years we had arguably the best offense in the NFL, period, and that's with noodle arm Matt Ryan. It's fucking noodle arm.
Julio was like, I mean, I could play through this, but I mean, to go 4-12.
I think Julio's going to hit with the thing that Calvin Johnson dealt with, getting traded, and he didn't get his wish. But I think the Falcons are going to honor it, try to find someone that he would like to go to. I don't think they're going to do the Calvin Johnson issue. I think he's going to end up either where he wants to go or at least a contender, it might not be where he wants to go, but he can end up on a contender. So we got that.
The thing with the NFL is, I mean, contenders have capital to move, whether it's players or draft picks. I mean, the Falcons aren't going to be stupid and just trade them to the Jets.
He ain't going to just anybody. So we got that. This is something we were talking about. The top tiers of quarterbacks, right? So I think it's tier 1 is easy. It's real simple. It's Brady and Rodgers, and that is tier 1. Like there's nobody else that.
When I saw that, why didn't you put Russell in? Why'd you put him in tier 2 and not tier 1?
So Russ, for me,
fair.
It's fair, and I think that throw where they put it on Russ to make that throw. Granted, Malcolm Butler made an insane jump on the ball and picked it off, but I think where they put it on the line where he was going to question Russ on that play, making or breaking it. And I feel like a lot of times I think Russ has a great arm, but I feel like he gets hit too much on his own account sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like he throws a lot of interceptions. Like Rodgers is super careful with the ball. Like Brady's going to throw it out of bounds. Like if you're not open and within like 4 or 5 seconds, hey, Brady will throw that shit out. I'm not getting sacked. This ball's going out of bounds. But I feel like Russell is still kind of not naive in a way. I think he's amazing, but he still makes that, I'm going to try to put it here, and it's just tough.
I mean, honestly, like I got to put Mahomes in there. I don't care what.
All right, there we go. All right, that's the one, bro.
I think,
bro, he's game changing. Like,
so Terrence, who's your top tier? Who's your number, like tier 1? Who are your tier 1 quarterbacks?
I can agree with Brady and Rodgers, but I'm also honestly gonna let Russ cook, and I'm gonna put Mahomes in there.
So you got 4. You got Russ. So you got Russ, Brady, Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Those are your top tier.
Yeah, Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, and Wilson. I mean, when you look at the beginning of the year, like maybe like halfway through the season, Russ is on pace to do what now with them records?
That's what I was about to say.
Spatter.
Let that man cook.
Russ had, of all the quarterbacks we just named, he had the worst offensive line by far, by way far.
And they want to run the ball.
Yeah. And as much as we hype up DK Metcalf, I think we get lost in what he can be. I don't know if y'all know this. I was literally just on Pro Football Focus. He drops 10% of his targets. So 10% of the time, 1 out of 10 times you throw to him, he's going to drop the ball.
Yeah.
And I want him to be great. I think he can. He has the potential to be Calvin Johnson. Now, Calvin Johnson never had the drop issue, but when you look at build, speed, and everything, he could be that. But yeah,
way too early.
I only have 2 people in my top tier, and mine is Mahomes and Rodgers. If I had to pick a number 1, Rodgers is my number 1. I think people forgot when everyone said, "Oh, Mahomes makes throws that we've never seen before." To me, that's a lie. Rodgers has been making these throws for years. He might not have as powerful as an arm as Mahomes, but any throw you need to make, I mean, Rodgers can make that. And then Mahomes is also in there. Now, Keith, I know you said
you ain't putting Brady up there. I don't even like Brady, but what?
He's a tier 2. I got a question for you. Everyone talks about Mahomes' weapons. Okay, Mahomes has Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. He had Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman, but are you going to tell me that Brady didn't just have his third option, bro? His third option at receiver was Antonio Brown. Your third option was a borderline number 1 receiver in the league 2 years ago. Your third option.
Pro Football Focus had him ranked number 2 at all quarterbacks. I mean, granted,
I get that.
He had an arsenal. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you're right. He has an arsenal. But the fact of it is,
Ronald Jones Jr., LeGarrette Blount, or not LeGarrette Blount. What am I talking about? Oh my God. Leonard Fournette. Oh my God. I'm going way back on the Bucks. You had Rob Gronkowski. I know OJ Howard was hurt this year, but you still had Cameron Brate. I think he was the number 4 ranked offensive line in the league.
But he showed you what he could do if you surrounded him with talent like the Patriots went.
But we already knew that. When he had the 07 Patriots with Randy Moss, Wes Welker, and that whole squad, we saw what Brady could do. I'm not doubting Brady. Back then, Brady was a tier 1 quarterback. Like then it was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and that was it. Nowadays, I mean, so there's a statistic that I learned about, which is big time throw. All right, which only calculates throws past the line of scrimmage. You know who led the league in throws behind the line of scrimmage? I'm gonna let y'all take one guess. His name is Tom Brady. So
that's crazy, actually.
So and that's the thing is I'm not knocking him because I do think he's one of the smartest, if not the smartest quarterbacks in the league. But the difference between tier 1 and tier 2, he's my number 1 tier 2 quarterback. There's that little shave of difference, and the difference is that arm talent. I don't think anyone would ever doubt that Tom Brady has never really had the arm talent, but when you talk about poise, clutch, smarts, he's got all of that. So I guess he could be tier 1. He's just out of it for me. And yes, it's because 2016 might have had something to do with it.
That man had him living.
For me, it's straight up top. The tier 1 is Brady, Wilson, and Mahomes at this point. I don't have Rodgers up there anymore. He's tier 2 for sure, but I don't have him up there anymore. Like he's got one
MVP.
out the door.
Bro, if you gonna put Brady up there, you gotta put Rodgers up there. That's how I feel. Like.
I'll be honest.
He just
Rodgers is the GOAT to me. Literally,
honestly, it was because of the last season.
I'm glad me and Terrence on the same page.
It was
he can't understand what you got going on.
It was a very mediocre season, but I did like.
Who had a mediocre season?
Hey, what Rodgers
won MVP, bro. He won MVP. 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Not to me. I mean, and I already don't like the Packers.
Hold on, wait. All right, before we keep going, Will, if he didn't win MVP in your mind, who you gonna give MVP?
Y'all, I mean, y'all not gonna like it.
Just tell me.
I would have given it to Brady. Because, like you said, he had an arsenal, but he came into Tampa.
Well,
I need to look in the eyes, that first rocky couple games. Like he built that team throughout the entire system, like on the fly. And that's you can't deny that.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna throw you guys off, right? Will's crazy, first of all. But anyway, I want y'all to know.
He built that whole team.
I'm not frozen, by the way.
Look at that
team that they have in Tampa, right? I want you to think about this. Any quarterback, other than the top grades, I'm saying middle of pack quarterbacks. So say a Matthew Stafford or even a Kirk Cousins, and I don't even think Kirk Cousins is all that. Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. If you put them on the Bucks, and especially Matt Ryan with his arm.
Matt Ryan has lived with the Bucks offense for 10 years.
If you put them on, if you put those players on the Bucks, they're gonna they might get to the Super Bowl. Not that they're gonna win, but they could get there because the defense changed. The defense for the first 5 weeks were blitz heavy, and then they got torched by Tyreek Hill. They're like, bro, we cannot send the house like this.
All I'm gonna say is if you put Aaron Rodgers on that 2016 Falcons team, you take Matt Ryan out, put him wherever, and you put Aaron Rodgers on that 26 Falcons team, we would have broke every single record known to man. Every single record. Julio would have broken the 2,000 threshold for wide receivers, the touchdown threshold that was set by Randy Moss with the Patriots. To me, I mean, and I'll admit my bias, Aaron Rodgers is my favorite quarterback I've ever seen throw the football, ever to this day.
But honestly, you can put Aaron Rodgers on any team and he's
gonna win, bro. He's gonna win.
So when y'all are talking about tier 1 and tier 2, all this shit, are y'all talking about recent or are y'all talking career now?
Recent.
It can be recent. It can be
then
Aaron
he had
Rodgers.
the most touchdowns, the least interceptions, had a 4,500 yard season,
and he's a legend too. He is a legend.
We gonna let Nick don't pay any mind. Me and Terrence has already let Will just be over there. Will just got that. Hey, we gonna actually.
I respect him though. He admitted it. He said he doesn't like the Packers, so I'll respect.
That might have something to do with it too. I don't like the Packers much, but I did like how you had Herbert on your list. I said, I always said that throughout the entire season, I said that Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert are gonna win one, if not more, Super Bowls in their career. Just
that's a bold prediction.
Not with the teams they're currently with.
Oh, okay, so you think Justin Herbert might leave at some point? Because I can't see the Chargers winning at any point.
I see him leaving at some point. Like if you watch, because I don't know for what reason.
And Keith, we gotta talk about Keenan Allen. We gotta talk about Keenan Allen.
You think? Yeah. Wait, before we go, because the next one's gonna top tier receivers. Because we've been on quarterbacks. You think the Ravens are really gonna let Lamar go?
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Wait, Will, you think that they're gonna let him go?
Wait, what?
You said like that
You
they
said
would
Herbert
win
and
chips, but
Lamar will win
multiple,
chips,
but
but
maybe
not
not
with
with
their
the
team.
team they're on.
Yeah. I mean Lamar Jackson.
Where's he gonna go? I mean, don't get me wrong.
He's gonna win one with the Ravens?
To me, as a Ravens fan, I don't think they let him walk, and I don't want to see him walk. But like you,
I don't either, but I don't think he's gonna win a chip with them.
For him, for him personally, I don't think he would leave because he watched 31 other teams pass him. Like they literally
out here wilding right now, boy.
they literally he watched
What'd
this
you say?
man. He sat there and they get passed on him. Now, if I was him, if Baltimore doesn't give me any talent around me, I leave. Like I go at that point. But I don't think Baltimore is gonna make the mistake because I watched Baltimore equip Joe Flacco with talent. So if Joe Flacco got equipped with talent, you better figure out a way because you don't like Will said. He can win some, but you only got maybe a 2-year window of getting 10, 11 wins and getting to the playoffs. It's 2 more years. So either you go get Julio, you draft really good this year with the 31st pick from the Chiefs, which is whatever at that point, and you go get you a receiver, and we are terrible at developing receivers, so who knows? But speaking of receivers, we got this top tier receivers. This is like, I think top 5 is not debatable. These dudes are apart from everybody. You can't even the top 5 is interchangeable. I love that Chad Johnson said this on I Am Athlete. He said top 5 comes down to preference. You get to preference of who you're at.
I pretty much agree with yours though. Your tiers here are pretty on point. I might put Jefferson up in tier 1, but other than that,
y'all already missing a tier,
bro. Wait. Look, we got
Will is on something tonight. Will is on
So
something.
y'all telling me that y'all wouldn't put Jefferson up there?
No.
1 year.
Why not?
1 year.
Bro.
You just said he should have got rookie of the year, and you don't want to put him in tier 1.
All right, Will.
Not tier 1 after 1 year.
Okay, so what's the difference? What's the deciding factor on a wide receiver tier to you then?
Wait, look at this. All right, so the guys I got, Adams plays by himself, right? Julio played by himself before Ridley. Diggs just went to Buffalo by himself. He got other complimentary players, but by himself. Hopkins by himself and god awful quarterbacks besides Deshaun Watson. And then Hill, lucky he got my homeboys and Kelsey. But those dudes all make a difference being just.
All right, Keith. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But somebody who I'm not gonna cap, who I might have to throw in there, who I'm like kind of iffy, like, is he in the
If
one?
you say Mike Evans, I'm gonna lose my mind.
No, in the 1 to 2, I'm going to Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Okay.
You know what?
We're talking route runners.
Yeah. Will Nick said that best. You say route runners? Yeah, he up there.
His impact though on the game.
I'd say this.
They don't win no games though.
He's low-key become underrated, but before the last 2 years, he was kind of the most overrated receiver.
I mean, we can look at other receivers that haven't won any games. Like we can argue that Julio is arguably the best receiver ever in the history to play the game, but they go 4-12.
They just went 4-12.
Whoa, that is you're touching too
All
close to home,
so
bro. We said,
hey, look, Amari Cooper is good. He's off my list on the tiers. I think
he might be tier 3. If I was to give Amari Cooper tier, he might
tier 3. It ain't 2 because look,
maybe tier 2.
Adams led the league at 18 touchdowns last year with receiving. Jones, he missed out, and even though he missed the game, his PF grade was above an 80.
Yep.
I mean, he missed the rest of the season after the 8. Diggs went 1,500 yards. Insane for getting on that team.
Number 1 in receptions and yards.
Exactly.
His first year being on his dolo.
Granted, they don't run the ball at all, so that is a thought to consider.
And you got somebody who loves to air it out.
They don't have no run game. That's the problem.
And then you got Hopkins up there. That man got hands of glue. He ain't gonna drop the ball. So
yeah, he's ridiculous.
You got
there
him.
Was
tier 2 is where we're at. Tier 2, I got Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson. I got Justin Jefferson down here, and I got Keenan Allen. What you gonna put Scary Terry up there, Will? What you got to say?
Get out of here.
Oh no, I ain't gonna put him up there.
Who you got, Will?
That probably is like I like Michael Thomas, bro, but I don't know. If it weren't for that Saint system, he wouldn't even have the level of success he had. Like,
listen. So, all right, Terrence, I gotta talk to you about that one because everyone calls and Keith, I gotta call because I've seen you.
I called Mike Slant Boy before.
I've seen you hype up. Oh, no. I've seen you hype up Keenan Allen a few times, and we gotta talk about. You want to know who the slant god is? By the way, I was doing some research. Keenan Allen is the slant god. By the way, this dude had 100 receptions, didn't break 1,000 yards. By the way, 100 receptions did not break 1,000 yards. Calvin Ridley only had 90 receptions, had 1,013.74. So you're telling me that Calvin Ridley can have 400 more yards on 10 less catches with noodle arm Matt Ryan as his quarterback.
But hey, check this out. Keenan Allen is more of a physical receiver. He's more of like he's gonna make.
And he did. He had 8 touchdowns. He had 8 touchdowns. So obviously in the red zone, he's clutch.
Keenan Allen, he gonna get open in the phone booth. Like,
and Keenan Allen, let's be honest, the best route runners in the league, sweet feet, is Diggs.
That's my number one.
And Devontae Adams, and they're over there, and everybody else is probably in the middle. And then Amari Cooper is up there too. He just ain't with those three.
I'll say
throw
this.
some respect on him, TJ. But he ain't with them three. But
I'll admit my bias. Where are we putting Calvin Ridley as a route runner?
Bro, hey, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it really real on this podcast right now. Calvin Ridley is benefiting from the same thing Juju and Chris Godwin got. So until Julio either leaves or he don't play next season.
Calvin was doing that with no Julio.
90%. I'm just
played
saying
9 games without Julio. But I mean,
he
yes.
was balling.
I'm not. He's a tier 3 receiver, but I'm saying at some point we're gonna have to look at it.
He had the same amount of yards as Devontae Adams.
Nick, he was balling with no.
He had the same amount of yards as Devontae Adams, and on 90 catches to Devontae Adams, 115. I'm just saying his average depth of reception was 15.8 yards, and that's with al dente pasta arm Matt Ryan. Bro.
He is, bro. He's tier 3, but he's the number 1 receiver in tier 3.
My tier 1,
tier 2. Right, first I could probably bump.
We're missing a tier here. So this is the tiers. God tier. There's a God tier. That's Julio. All right. So that's standalone. So we got God tier Julio Jones. All right. That's where we're starting. Tier 1, where the humans belong. We got Devontae Adams. That's number 1. Hopkins, Diggs, and Hill. So with what's up?
You're putting Hop over. Hold on. You got Adams, Hop, Diggs.
Well, no. I mean, Devontae's my number 1. After that, I don't really have a ranking. It's just they're all top tier to me.
But what about God? Is God just
God tier is Julio? That's that's
it. That's exclusively it. Huh?
You don't even mention the other receivers in that name. So
okay, all right.
So stop.
Go.
So that's
keep it rolling.
Yeah. So obviously Devontae is the whole package. He's got great hands. So I made a class, right? The 1 drop class. There was 3 receivers this year that qualified that had 1 drop. Devontae Adams was one of them. Allen Robinson was the other. And I can't remember who my other person that only had 1 drop was, but I don't think they made my list. Oh, Cole Beasley. And that was just a shout out to Cole Beasley being one of the best, like Wes Welker.
Good hands.
Yeah. Wes Welker slot
be
receivers.
A dog if he can get a quarterback. Bro.
Yeah. So, but Allen Robinson. So going back to the 1 drop thing, another thing that I was looking up was contested catches. So he had the most contested catches. That's, you're blanketed and you're still making a catch. 21. The next closest was Devontae Adams at 13. So with Mitch Trubisky throwing
my man ain't got no quarterback. He making everything contested.
Yeah, so Mitch Trubisky throwing you the ball and you got 21 contested catches and only 1 drop. That's insane. But then I think
Robinson would be a dog if he can get a quarterback.
I think he's mad at that he got tagged this year. I think he was looking for a long-term deal. Yeah. But he said he likes Chicago, so I think he just wanted them to actually pay him. But they got the issue of they're about to be in cap hell because they pay Khalil Mack so much money, which he deserves it. Pay him. But everybody on that team is getting paid. They just let Kendall Fuller go to it's Kyle. Kendall's on the football team. Yeah, let Kyle go to the Broncos. Because they couldn't pay him, he was all pro.
Whatever. As much as we laugh at the Andy Dalton signing, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't get much worse as a starting quarterback as Mitch Trubisky. So,
I'm taking Andy over Mitch for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as a passer, yeah, any day. You might be a little more dynamic with Mitch, maybe, but like at the end of the day, whoever you can get. What I feel bad for with Chicago is they didn't try to make a trade for one of those higher picks, because if they could land even a Kellen Mond, I mean, you're talking significant improvement.
I think they were betting on like
going in the first round. Kellen Mond's going probably like second, third, fourth round.
I think if
the Patriots get there, he's going to the Patriots.
The Bears and the Panthers were betting on the Bears and Panthers were betting on that Deshaun Watson stage. Maybe, obviously he got all that going on, but maybe after the fact of maybe if this clears, if it doesn't clear, it's a wrap. He ain't playing. But if this clears and, maybe it doesn't have a negative impact, maybe, if you're a team like the Panthers and you want him instead of drafting a quarterback, or you're a team like the Bears and you still offer something, because you got to think his draft stock can go down. I mean, his trade value going to go down definitely a lot off what happened.
I don't think Deshaun comes to Charlotte at this point, just for the simple fact that they went out and got Sam Darnold and they're so high on him. Like at this point, maybe Chicago, maybe the biggest.
Yeah, the Panthers need to chill out with that, because they need to check that boy's collar interception ratio, thinking he about to be a god in that offense. But that's a topic for another day.
I don't know what they're looking at. I know Robbie Anderson was like, bro, I'd love to get away from this man.
Yeah, so I guess we left off, I don't think anybody got Mike Evans on the list. I just want to put that out there. His first 7 seasons, he averaged 1,000 yards. First 7 seasons.
Elite receiver. Definitely elite.
I just think he falls off in the fact of he had Jameis, and all Jameis really did do was pass. I think he's a top 10 for sure. He's just not 5. He's in the top 10 because he moves up this chart for sure, but he's not top 5.
My thing for him is the drops.
He will drop the ball.
So there was like a stat I saw, and it was like by 2017, which is like or maybe it was 2018, like his 3rd year in the league, he had already eclipsed Larry Fitzgerald's career number in drops. And
but Jameis, in his slight defense, was putting that man in some scary situations, boy.
He was putting him in scary spots.
I'm letting you know, I'd let that ball fall off my hands too if everybody he had coming was coming after him like that.
So, hey, Keys. So I don't know if y'all remember now, Nick. I don't know if you remember last week when I said that somebody that needed to have a big year was David Clowney, right?
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Check out this stat. So the highest pass rush win rates since 2018. Number 1, Robert Quinn. Number 2, TJ Watt. Number 3, Myles Garrett. Number 4, Aaron Donald. Number 5, Clowney.
JJ. Oh, it's Clowney? Okay.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
That's when he snapped. That's when he's lined up, though. That's my only problem.
He's dynamic. He's going to make an impact for the Browns, I think. Yep. He's a respectable player. Like, I don't care what nobody says.
Especially opposite side of Myles Garrett. We always talk about number 2 options for wide receivers. I mean, if Jadeveon Clowney is your number 2 edge rusher, I mean, you're doing pretty good.
All right.
So 2 of the top 5, the highest pass rush win rate since 2018, and Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. So
we got that. We're going to start to kind of reel this thing in here. Who is your sleeper receiver for next season? I'm going to start with Nick. We'll go Will and then Terrence. Who you got, Nick?
Sleeper receiver. All right, I'll go out and I'll say my bias out the gate. So we saw Calvin, right? We said Calvin showed his worth as a number 1 receiver last year, what he could do if when Julio's out. I'll say if he can continue that type of production, he can move up to that elite tier, regardless of we said tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, just elite level route runner, hands, and deep threat. I'll put Calvin up there. This will be his year to prove, if we move on from Julio, that he belongs in that upper echelon of receivers in the NFL.
Who you got, Will?
Well,
man, might say Aaron Rodgers.
Anybody that's in the league right now or coming in, or
we talk about just sleepers in the league right now. You can't say Aaron Rodgers.
I think, honestly, I think I'm gonna just speak on my team. I think Curtis Samuel might actually do more work than he did last year. Like he might break out this year.
I think he had a career year last year too.
He had a pretty good career, but like he was not as good as of course, for half the fucking season we had Haskins.
All right, true. All
Like,
right.
I don't think Fitzpatrick is gonna fucking change the tide for us, but he's a vet that knows what he's doing. So I think with that coming in, Samuel he'll have a couple good games, I guess you could say.
All right, bet. All right, I like that kind of a little bit.
I
Who
mean,
you got?
Since everybody that went their team so far, I'm gonna go with my team as well, and I'm gonna throw out a doozy. So I'm gonna go out with Nelson Aguilar here. So he had a career year last year in Vegas out there with Derek Carr, and his thing for me in Philly was stop dropping the fucking ball.
Yes.
Remember, buddy in the house, the burning house, tried him.
He was legit losing them games because he was dropping the ball. But last year he stepped up in Vegas and balled out. And I feel like coming into New England, I feel like he's gonna continue to trend and continue having that. And he's kind of in his prime years, I guess. So I feel like to come in and hopefully he can benefit from that double tight end set. And I feel like he'll be a pretty good sleeper for us this year. And
Yeah, Belichick will put him in a place to succeed.
Watch Cam bringing back the deep ball now. Cam was elite with the deep ball.
All right, y'all keep going y'all team. This is sounding real corny of y'all doing this.
I'm about to say, I know you don't got one for your team. I'm sorry, but yeah, you don't got one.
Yeah, you ain't got. I mean, just because we got some receivers that we could talk about.
Hey, no disrespect.
Hey, I just want y'all to know, I'm taking Marquise Brown over.
Get out of here!
No, I'm not saying for my pick. I'm taking him over Terrence's pick, over Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, you just gonna take him over Terrence's picks?
Yeah, and I'd probably take him over Curtis Samuels if he was in a different situation.
I dare you
that's
say
besides
Calvin
the
Ridley.
point.
I dare you say Calvin Ridley.
No, not at all. I'm saying like over that. But if I'm picking somebody that's gonna boom next year, I think he's already booming. He's super underrated. I think he suffers from the Steve Smith.
The only reason I'm gonna let you have it is because he's new to the team and he ain't proven himself yet with any kind of performance. So I'm gonna let you have it.
I think someone that's underrated, he suffers from like the Steve Smith effect, that he's on a small team or like, he doesn't get the ball thrown to him because he has a running back, or he gets the ball thrown to him, but the running back's so dominant. Is AJ Brown. That man's a dog, bro.
No, actually, you got the pick.
He's gonna take off because they let Corey Davis go to the Jets. They brought in the dude from the Rams. I forget his name. I think it's Jefferson. They brought him in to help. Or not Jefferson, that was a rookie. They brought in Josh Reynolds. He's not Corey Davis. They let Jonnu Smith go to the Patriots. So I think that play action is about to
I'm about to say, and not only the Steve Smith effect, but the fact that you got Derrick Henry in the backfield, everybody's gonna focus on that. And so y'all ready for a crazy stat? You want to know who the number 1 rated rushing quarterback was last year? It was not Lamar Jackson.
It was Kyler Murray.
No.
Probably Cam, for real.
Ryan Tannehill. I swear on everything. Go look up Pro Football Focus. The number 1 rated rushing quarterback last year was, and this is a metric, not like clearly in yards.
You know what's funny? He do got wheels on him, and he used to play
underrated
receiver.
Wheels. Yeah,
he used to play receiver, so I mean, it's kind of believable.
Yeah,
I mean, his whole career has just came back to life from going to Tennessee. I don't know what the hell got into him because when he
got out of Miami.
It was a goddamn shit show.
Honestly, they're gonna try him though because they let all those weapons go. So hopefully, AJ Brown off the play action, which AJ Brown's gonna get open and he's super physical.
Underrated, definitely.
But
underrated.
I just think it's gonna show that they shouldn't have let all those dudes walk. They let them go. And then they let the corners go. Like I don't know what they think they're just about to play with.
In Tennessee, I don't know what they're doing.
Because Derrick Henry, he gonna go off like usual. That's expected.
Corners go with Dory Jackson.
But when the playoffs come and everyone starts loading the box, what are you gonna do, right?
Exactly. You saw what Baltimore did to him. You saw what happened when he went. It was Kansas City. So it's just a matter of you couldn't have let all that go. But we'll see.
Team on my back though.
Yeah. So that is cover 4 today with the guys. Appreciate you tuning in. We got Nick with Will got the life advice today. What you got for us, Will?
Oh yeah. Brings me to let me see, what's a good word of the day to how about this? Something that could apply. The word conveyance. The definition for it, the main definition is transportation, or could be like an action, idea, feeling, or whatever, and going forward with that. Basically, it's like it's a word for like a sense of guidance in a way. So you can't go through life without some sort of conveyance. You might lose your vision or your drive at some point. Don't let that get to you. I know many people who have been down in the dumps. I've been down in the dumps. And the good thing about being down in the dumps, without trying to sound too cliche, is when you're down there, you got nowhere to go but up. So you do that work, put in the work, get that conveyance back in order so you know where you're going with it. And you set, you good. You're going to come into something that will bring you better days, better weeks, better years.
Hey, and that's it. We'll wrap it up with us. That's probably the best thing he done said all day. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll holler at y'all next week.
Just wait till I bring the subject matter.
Bro, Will's about to be on 10 next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm gonna bring it all to you.
We'll see y'all boys and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, next week. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.